There's an emergency news alert, everybody. Stock your households with popcorn and candy because it's going to be cloudy today with a chance of fan art. Ah!
You guys drew art. Art that would impress and span across history forever. Your art ranged from Sophie in a holiday outfit, to Keith in a Santa costume, to a beautiful Alicorn family. This art was to be holiday themed, so you could cherish the good times with family and friends. You sent your amazing art through mailing and messaging. We each scored your art through 25, and now it is time to reveal the results. The KotLC Fanbase presents the Holiday Fan Art Contest.
Hey. I hope you enjoyed that little intro that I made. And welcome to the first part of the Holiday Fan Art Contest mini-series. There will be most likely 4 parts to this series. This video will be Troy's feedback on your drawings and your scores. The next, Austin's, and part 3, Joey's. After everybody working for this channel has personally reviewed and scored your art, we will release a part 4 of this series, and that will release the results by placements. Last to first, building up towards the highest scored pieces. If you are excited to see all of the fan art that has been entered, please hit that like button below. Can we get this video 50 likes? That would be awesome, guys. This might be a long video, but it's well worth it because you all did so well on these art pieces. Alright, let's start on Dollify1776.
Okay, so quick update. This video is an hour and about 20 minutes long. So yeah, I really did mean it when you should prepare some snacks, drinks, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need because this is a long video. I mean, you can always pause it and take a quick break, but yeah. It's really not that long because we have 30 entries basically, and that gives each entry 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I wouldn't want to degrade your art at all because the video is too long. That's not a thing with me because y'all probably spent loads of hours and hours making your art, so I don't want to make my video any shorter for that. Also, I spent a long 25 hours on this video, so if you could please leave a like, anything like that, that would be so appreciated because I'm exhausted. It was a very hard work schedule for the last few weeks. Yeah, I work a lot for this channel, probably more than I should. Alright, Dollify1776.
So, as you can see, this is Sophie wearing a holiday winter outfit. I think that it's really good, and it surprises me how realistic the outfit looks. This is a really good, so let's get into the scoring. Alright, first category is creativity. I give you a 2 out of 5. I feel like you could have created something that takes up more of your brain to think of, you know? This was just too simple for me. One suggestion for a future contest is that you can maybe add a snowy background behind her, and a Christmas tree. The second category is use of colors. I gave you a 4. I mentioned this earlier, but the colors really make your art. I can't explain this, but the colors are so realistic. Well done. The next category is effort, and I gave you a 3. I could tell that you didn't spend hours and hours on your art, and not just 5 minutes, somewhere in the middle. Like I said before, if you had put in a background of some sort, your score would be higher. For the next category, the relativity to the theme, I gave you a 3 also. I feel like you could have done more with the holidays. Going back to my previous example, maybe a snowy slope with a glittering and decorated Christmas tree. I just think that was not the most use of the theme. Give us something big next time. And the last category, which is if your art meets regulations. That is a 5, obviously, because your art does. And it doesn't violate our guidelines that we sent out a few weeks ago. So that brings your total score to a 17 out of 25 from me. Alright, $51776, your art will be reviewed by 2 more people, but a huge good job for me. On to the next piece. This is from Starlight Winter. And can we first just take a few seconds and appreciate this amazing art? I didn't even think that you guys could do this. I literally would print this out if Starlight removed the watermark and put it on my KotLC wall. This really appreciates the happy alicorn family, and I am practically in love with this piece. You did a super job on this Starlight. I could ramble on about this for a couple minutes, but we've got to get through a lot of art in this video. So let's get to the scoring. Alright, let's start with creativity. For this category, I gave you a 4. Your creativity level was great here. I love the tinsel that the alicorn twins are playing with, and I love the Christmas adornments that Sylvie and Grayville are wearing. And I also love the coloring around the alicorns. It really sets the scene. Speaking of colors, the second category is the use of colors. And I gave you a 5. I thought that the shading of the alicorns was amazing, and even though you used 3 or 4 colors, you used them in a very effective manner. I like the whole sunset vibe in the background. Now, effort. I gave you another 4 for this category. I feel as if you could do a little more with this art piece, like adding in some trees and grass, just setting the scene a bit more, but I can tell that you spent a load of time on this. Now, relativity to theme. I gave you another 4 for this category. Alicorns probably don't celebrate Christmas, so what you did here was great critical thinking. I don't know if this was the intent, but I could just imagine that Sophie decorated them like this. Again, I don't know if this was the intent, but since I can see this in my head, I can see this in the score. The last category is if it meets regulations, and again, it gets a 5 because it abides by our rules. That brings your total score up to a 22. Amazing job. Your art is so inspiring to me. Ugh, I love it. Alright, next contestant. This was submitted by Lily Bugby, and I really like it and how it relates to the holidays. From what I interpret, Sophie is putting a present underneath Kala's tree. And let me just say real quick, that tree is beautiful. I also love the starry sky and the dark green field. Alright, scoring time. For the first category, I scored you a 4. Like I just said, Sophie putting a present underneath Kala's tree was a deal breaker for me. Why you didn't get a 5, however, was that you could have added more detail to the field. Next category, use of colors, was also a 4. Personally, Kala's tree colors is just pure gold to me. I love it, and the colors used really brings my eyes to the tree. Now, effort. I gave you a 2. From my perspective, it looks like you didn't put much effort into the art, except for the tree, of course. And I'm still concerned about the field. Is there anything beside the tree, even a small bush? I feel like you could have added a little more to your art. Now, for the relativity to the theme. I believe that you did a fair job on this, so I gave you a 3. I love the Kala present thing, but in reality, there could be more about the holidays that you could include. Like snow. For the last category, I gave you a 5, as you met our regulations set in the video. All of these scores add up to a 18. That's pretty good. We shall see if that sits in our top 3 with the next few videos. But again, I really enjoyed looking at this, and it had a nice feeling to it. Next contestant. This piece of art is made by Gotcha Sprinkles. This is incredibly creative. I would never thought of this. I like how she incorporates the Christmassy holiday feel in this piece. I love the O, T, and L and how that represents the holidays. Great job. And now it is time to score your art. Now, the first category is creativity. For this, I give you a 5. I really like how you incorporated our theme into the letters of KotLC. The wreath, so creative. The tree is so creative and beautiful. And the T with all the lights is also really cool and creative. For your use of colors, I give you a 3. Your job of using colors was fair. So even though your creativity is above key, I have to score fairly. I feel like you could have done better / spent more time with your colors. For example, on the K, your zigzags have to match up with each other when the letter splits. I also have a problem with your C because it's not very holiday-ish. But the other 3 letters are beautiful, and so that evens out to a 3. Now, for your effort, I give you another 3. I feel as if you could have done a little more with this art, and by the looks of it, you didn't spend as much time as some other entries. How about make the letters sitting upon a snowy hill, and Sophie putting an ornament on that letter L? That would add a background to what you have created and some action in your art. However, when we look at your relativity to the theme, I gave you a 5. Like I said before about 1,000 times, I love what you did with the letters and how it incorporates the holidays. Your art also meets regulations so greatly, so I give it another 5. Now, if you haven't already added up all those scores by now, your total score from me is a 21. Nice job! Overall, I really loved this piece. Thanks so much for entering. Now, Sleepy Kitten. This piece was made by Sleepy Kitten. It is a beautiful Sophie's hug while they are surrounded with brilliantly made bright lights. This is an ideal scene for anyone or any couple right there. Just imagine having a picture of you and your girlfriend / boyfriend like that. Anyways, this is just amazing, amazing digital artwork. Now, for your scoring. The first category is creativity, and I gave you a whopping 2. I'm kind of disappointed to say this, but your creativity needs a little work where that came from. I will show you an image on screen, and this image was made entirely before this contest. For use of colors, though, I gave you a 5. I really like what you did with both of their outfits, and the color of the lights are very subtle but gorgeous. For your effort, I gave you a 4. It looks like you did spend a good amount of time on this, but not the best. I really like how it looks flawless, except for that bottom hand, and that obviously means that you put a good amount of effort into your work. For your relativity to theme, I gave you a 3. I'm seeing this in a lot of everybody's art. You can't just put Sophie in a Santa hat and expect a lot of points there. What did raise your score in this category a bit, though, were your lights. I love them. Now, for the last category, you got a 4, as you did copy someone's work bit for bit. This brings your total score from me as a 18. That's pretty good. Man, you'd probably win this whole thing if you hadn't copied that other image. You lost a lot of points to that. Anyways, I love your art. Let's keep moving on. This is Ellie Ward's artwork of Biana and Iggy. I love this as you have everything from Biana's amazing holiday costume to that very cute imp on her shoulder. I really like how you portray Biana on paper. It's really good. But I can ramble on about Biana's beauty for hours, but we shall need to score so this video doesn't run for over an hour. Let's get started. For creativity, I gave you a 3. As I want to tell a lot of people in this video, you could just have added more to the scene. Make me feel with Biana and Iggy. I want to immerse myself in this elven world. Maybe she's in Everglen right now. Maybe in Atlantis with Lynn. I don't know. Come up with something. Another way that seems to be more creative is adding a story behind your art. A lot of those entries tend to score higher than others. And for use of colors, I gave you another 3. You only used 3 or 4 colors, and I would love it if you could incorporate more next time. But with what you used, you did a really good job. I also have to point out, I don't know what you did with Beyonce's hair, but it's amazing. For effort, I gave you another 3. This art seems to be following a trend here. I can tell that you gave a fair amount of time to this, not too much and not too little. If you would like to score higher next time in this category, try adding more to this art to make it look like a lot of effort. And that's a pro tip for anyone. Make it look like a lot of time and effort went to your art, so we can score yours higher. We don't know how much time you spent on this, we just have to interpret it. But the point is, you had a fair amount of effort in this entry. Now, for relativity to theme, I gave you a 3. Again! Ugh, your art is so consistent. That's great. This is the last time I'm going to say this, but you could add more holiday related stuff to this scene. You could add some snow, a Christmas tree, a wrapped Fitz. Wait, what? I don't know. Get creative and really embrace the theme. Last but not least is meets regulations. Does your art do this? I don't know. Just kidding, it does. So you get a 5 in this category. This brings your total score from to 17. 17. Great job. I love your art, Ellie, and will definitely look at it once in a while when I need some inspiration, because your art is awesome. And just to let y'all know, I am not a great drawer or artsy person at all. So it's amazing to know that people in the world are actually good at something I'm not. Next person. The 7th piece that we will be showing you today is made by @alicorns.read.art. Make sure to follow her on Instagram. Now, this is what I was talking about before. A story-based art piece. This is very creative in my rulebooks. From what I can understand, I believe that multiple stories are going on here. Tam is upset because his sister Lynn put a very special Christmas outfit on him. Fitz is upset because his shirt says Merry Keefmas, rather than Merry Christmas or Xmas. You can clearly see that Keefe did this. It appears to me that Dex and Bayana are in a field playing / visiting Sylvanie and Greyfell away from the rest of the friends. But really, this art is up for interpretation. I really like this aspect and how all of this story relates to the holidays. Nice work. Now for your scores. First, category, creativity. I gave you a 5. I really liked what you did with your brain here. You invented a little bit of a story here, represented through your art. I even like how you incorporated Greyfell and Sylvanie, and Win and Luna. Although I would like to see the actual alicorns. I don't like that the words are there, draw the actual creatures. Now, for use of colors, I gave you a 3. You did a fair job on your coloring skills here. I'm going to be a little picky here, but that's who I am, and in general, I'm a very harsh critic. So, Beyonce's hair is brown, according to the book. The color that you used is giving me a more orangish vibe. Another example would be that you didn't erase a mistake in your Dex, and that looks like he has a ponytail brushed to the side. So make sure you take a step back sometimes and really look at it closely. For effort, I gave you a 5. Awesome job on this art, and I can tell that you put a lot of time into this. Especially with the small storyline in there. I'm sorry if I keep mentioning it, but I love it. Anyways, for your relativity to theme, I gave you another 5. I feel as if your art had a great amount of holiday in it. You really dug into the spirit and joy of the holidays. You have everybody dressed up in holiday attire, a nice string of lights in the middle of the paper. And I like how you actually based your art on the holidays. I see that other people drew what they wanted and then incorporated holidays into it. For the final category, you earned a 5 because your art definitely meets regulations. Now, what does this all add up to? Your total score from me is a 23. That's the highest score I've given today, so congratulations. Very well job on this piece. But really what sold your art was the mini story behind it. Thanks so much for entering. You get more feedback and scoring done by Joey and Austin. See you later. Okay, so this is kind of a special piece. because this was done by a family member of the KotLC fanbase. This was made by Joey's little sister, Sophia. She recently started reading the series, and we will try to include her in a few videos so we can get a fresh voice for you guys to listen to. Anyways, getting sidetracked from the main goal today, we have to review this art. So this is obviously a Sokeefe piece. They are holding hands, walking through a snowy wonderland, with everything from a Christmas tree and a beautiful snowy dove. And of course, you have Bianna poking her head to stalk the two lovers. You did a job well done, Sophia. Now, for your scoring. The first category is creativity, and I would say that you did a very great job on this art. So, I gave you a 4. Again, we have a minor story going on through this art. I would just interpret this as Keith and Sophie walking through a snowy forest, with Bianna stalking them, of course. I can really picture this, and this is so creative, so it only makes sense to give it a 4 for this category. Next category is use of colors, and I gave you a 3. I'm sorry to be a stickler here, and I know you haven't even read much of the first book yet, but Keith's hair is blonde, not brown. This insults the series so much, I can't believe what you just did. Just kidding, but it is slightly disturbing and unsettling. I think you could have added color to the tree, make it a Christmas tree with lights and tinsel, use the color that you have available to you. I just see a lot of white. Besides this, you did a great job. Now for your effort. I gave you a 4. It looks as if you put a lot of time into this. I mean, just those dots would take a lot of time for me, honestly. I'm going to say this for everyone, but you could have still done more to it though. Like the Christmas tree example. Make the art really light up. You like my joke there? Or not? For your relativity to theme, I give you a fair score, a 3. Again, it warms my toes a little bit, but you can make that feeling spread across my whole body. I'm going to use the Christmas tree example again because, well, that's just me. Add a Christmassy theme into your art. And for the last example, about meeting regulations, you obviously met them, so you get a 5 from me. Sophia, your total score for me is 19. Nice job. I really love how you incorporated a lot of effort and creativity into your art, and that makes anything a lot better. Now, this art has a backstory to it, and you all know that I like stories. This was made by @artisty_art, and they make very great art, of course. So go follow this person. Anyways, Bianna got her everlasting wish. This art was posted with the description that Bianna had given him a very special Christmas makeover. I really like this as it is a realistic version of him. Like, this could be very well a photograph, not a drawing. You did incredible. It is such a beauty. Now, let's get into the art of scoring. Like my joke there? The first category is creativity. You viewers know this by now. Anyways, I gave you a 4. I liked again that you added a slight story to what you created. The whole Bianna makeover ideal is very humorous and awesome to include in this contest. I give major credit to you for the great deal of creativity that you took. Now, for your use of colors, I gave you a 3. Don't freak out just yet, but Joey brought up a great point while reviewing and scoring your art. The color of Keith's skin in the image and the color of the shirt are very similar. At first, we actually both thought that Keith was half naked, and I actually had to take a minute to explain to Joey that he was in fact wearing a shirt. Everything else is beautifully drawn, however, so if you could have just made the shirt contrast with Keith's skin a bit better, we would have raised your score. Make sure you study the art of contrast colors and the ratios behind them, so that you can uphold the best art to the public. Now, for effort, I gave you a 4. You did incredibly well with this image. It looks like an actual human, not a stick figure. Never in my life could I do something so good. The only reason why I deducted some points is that the background is kind of bland. Maybe you have Bianna in the corner, smiling while she holds the makeup set. That would actually explain the story a bit more too. But this is really nitpicky feedback because it is so good. For the relativity to theme, I gave you a 3. Again, I think you could have done more with the theme. The Christmas colors aren't going to do it, I'm afraid. But your art perfectly meets regulations, so I gave you an amazing, a 5. And that 5 brings your total score to a 19. This is some very high-end work from you, probably the most professional out of all of these, to be honest. But I tried to make the scoring not based on your artistic abilities, but rather the effort and creativity and theme. That being said, though, this is incredibly beautiful. Such a great job from you. Alright, next person. Alright, so this was made by book_lover_27. Actually, 2007. So go follow her on Instagram. This is a really cute picture, shall I say, of Keith giving Sophie a present on a beautiful snowy day. Here are the three main things that I enjoy about this drawing. 1. The cute little ferns and plants on the hill. 2. The people. They both look adorable. And 3. The snowflakes. Well drawn, book lover. Let's get into your scoring. The first category is creativity, and I gave you a 3. I think that your creativity was well in this piece. It wasn't too much of a conveying of holidays, but a nice amount. In general, I think that you could have added more of a story to this. Like Keith owed her a favor and she chose for him to walk up a snowy mountain to deliver a present. Something like that, you know? For use of colors, I gave you a 2. I can't see much color on your paper, and that's a problem for me. And I don't know if this is just your lighting equipment and this shot or anything, but everything looks white. Like even the Santa hats. I need some splashes of color, you know? My eyes get bored by just white and black. I do like the little ferns and greenery though, well drawn. The next category is effort, and I gave you a 3. I think that you could have added more to this, you know? Maybe Julene is in the background using her powers to make snow. Maybe Biana is spying on them. I don't see much on your paper, and that makes me think that you didn't put much effort. But the snowman, I wouldn't have the patience to draw all those circles. But some happier news is that you got a 4 for relativity to theme. I really feel by the fire, drinking some hot chocolate, and watching some Christmas movies when I look at your piece. The even statement just shows that you deserve this 4. I mean, I want to think that you can always improve. You could have gotten a 5 if you incorporated Christmas trees, for example. You met regulations, so you earned yourself another 5. This shall bring your total score to a 17. Nice job. Overall feedback is, I love the concept, but we need more color. I absolutely loved yours, Book Lover 2007, and let's see another piece that I love. But not this ship. So, this is cute. This was made by the Magical Fox, and this is a nice under the mistletoe moment right here. Except it's Sophit's. Ugh. Just kidding, Sophit's isn't all that bad. Anyways, this is not the hour-long ranting video. Hashtag subscribe to see one. Anyways, we are here to see and score some amazing art. So let's do that. The first category is creativity, and I gave you a 2. So the thing is, Sophie and Fitz under mistletoe isn't the most original idea on the planet. You should still include this. Just make it something bigger, you know? Maybe they are both drinking hot chocolate. Maybe are looking at a lake of moonlarks when he pulls it out. Get creative. For your use of colors, I gave you a 4. Now, like I said before with the first entry, the outfits sell the whole image. Those are such realistic colors for the outfits. I'm telling you, everybody is good with this. Why can't I? Moping aside, great job with your colors. I also like your neutral background color, which also happens to be my favorito color. So a job well done on that. Your effort scored a 3. Again, add more, add a background to score higher next time. Really spend a lot of thought and time on this. After all, it will be showed on our video for 2 to 3 minutes. Big deal. For your relativity to theme, I gave you another 3. I feel like you had a decent amount of holiday-ish activities here. But next time, I want you to embrace the theme a lot more, okay? And you scored a 5 for meeting regulations. So that will bring your total score from me to 17. Pretty decent. You'll see how that stacks up with others, right after your entry and at the end. Again, beautiful scene here, just add more. Here are the mid-video statistics and placements. In the lead with 23 points is at alicorns.read.art with their nice Christmas story. In second with 22 points is Starlight and her beautiful Alicorn family. In third, with a whopping 21 points, is the beautiful masterpiece that really captures KotLC. Quite literally,
Gotcha sprinkles.
A tie for 4th with 19 points is held by @artisty_art and Joey's sister Sophia. There's a two-way tie for 5th with 18 points, which is held by Sleepy Kitten and Lily Bugby. And a four-way tie for 6th with 17 points is the Magical Fox, Dollify1776, Ellie Ward, and @book_lover_2007. Great job, everybody! Remember, these placements are subject to change. There will be another update at the end of the video, so keep watching to find out if your placements are still the best or worst. And remember, there are 2 more people scoring your art out of 25. So really, your scores are going to change a lot. Alright, let's get back to scoring. If anyone is still watching this video, and I assume that not many people are, I want to praise you. Thanks so much for watching the entire video, as you are helping us to raise our view average, and just in general, showing us support like you wouldn't believe. Now, you are about to see a message on the screen. Type this in the comments so we know that you stayed around for 30 minutes of this video. Alright, the message is incoming. Go ahead and write this in the comments so we can know that you are one of the loyal supporters of this channel. Again, thanks for staying with me, and I hope that you stay for the rest of the video too. Okay, this is our first piece of the second half of the video. This was made by Jenny Tran, and what a masterpiece this is. Although she didn't know this was to be holiday related, it is still very good. I really like the KotLC logo thingamabob at the top, and how your color palette matches with it. Ah, you are so talented. Now, let's score this piece. For the first category, creativity, I gave you a 3. I really like your concept, but I have to deduct a few points for the whole misconception of the theme. However, the logo thing at the top is highly creative, and relating these two characters to an interspecial issue was of a very high intellectual level, so I have to give you some props for that. For the second category, I gave you a 4. I think all the shading that you did here was great, and somehow the diagonal line bits that you did just look so attractive. And I love what you did with her hair, the glints of white in it. I could just imagine a huge light blaring down on them with how you made the hair. But I know it's of the dye that they put in, although they technically did dye the tips of their hair, not the tops. Getting off track, I gave you a 4 for effort. It is very visible that you put a lot of work and time into this piece. So a big thank you for taking this contest seriously. I mean, just look at it, guys. For the fourth category, I gave you a 2. I'm so sorry, and I'm so sorry that you misheard our guidelines. It wouldn't be fair to give you anything more than a 2, though. The reason why it does surpass the 1, however, is that it relates to KotLC, and that is a part of what we asked for. Again, this piece is amazing, but it needs to be of a holiday relevance. For the final category, I deducted a point, leaving you with a 4. All I'm going to say is relate your art to the holidays and you will be fine. That brings your total score up to a 17. That is very impressive, seeing that you didn't have any holiday-ish activities in your piece. Imagine if it did score high in some of those categories. You'd have been really up there. Thanks so much for even submitting art, because that shows that you've been watching our videos and are supporting us. I love this so much. Jeez, I can't stop rambling about it. Let's try something else before I worship it. So, this is another story-related piece that resides well in my heart. Keith is wearing a beard. Oh, it warms my heart. It really does. Sophie's clearly dressing him up in a Santa costume, and Keith is being reluctant. A classic story. This is all instead of a beautiful winter scene. I do have to congratulate you, because this is absolutely wonderful. It really captures the true spirit of the holidays. Fun and cheer with friends and family. Ah, this makes me feel so relaxed. I wish the best luck of you further into this competition, because quite frankly, this art is totally rad. Here are your scores. For creativity, I gave you a 4. What you did here is really creative and innovative, and how you made this, I couldn't imagine. So I have to give you top points for this. You also filled the paper. It's great to see that you have a background behind your main focus point, Sophie and Keefe. The way that you did the background trains my eyes to the point, Sophie and Keefe, the main characters, so I applaud you for the professional criteria behind your art. You could have scored higher if you added more to the background, like maybe the alicorns or some Christmas decor. For the second category, use of colors, I gave you a 4. Again, the softer background and vibrant focal point in your art is flawless. What could have raised your score is having more colors in general. I think it's missing more of the green and purple feel, and you could easily incorporate this using Christmas trees or scarves. Try to balance your colors through the rainbow on your paper. For the third category, effort, I gave you a 4 again. I could tell that you really thought out your drawing and then worked it out in your paper. Then took a step back and said, should I revise this? Everything looks flawless, so I can tell a lot of revisions and overall general work time was invested. So great job. For the fourth category, I gave you another 4. You were doing great, Sophie. You have everything about the holidays in there for me, just some scene decor that really represents the holidays. Make it so the background isn't entirely devoted to snow and ice. And the last category, if it's meeting regulations, I gave you a 5. You met all of our guidelines, so thank you. Sophie, your total score is a 21. Great job. You are very high up there, and I wish for you to get even higher throughout the competition. I love the story, your drawing work, and the soft background. Well done. This is cool. This was made by Lynn, and it is a well-made piece of art. I love the humor and comedy behind this piece, because we all need a bunch of laughs now and again. I like how Keefe is seemingly making a joke about something that he put on her. I don't fully understand the scene, but enough to fully appreciate the art. That is something you can make more clear if you were to revise the whole story concept. That being said, however, I like Keefe and Sophie, their outfits, and the whole message. Let us get to scores. So, as the scoring rubric magically appears, we will score. The first category is creativity, and I gave you a 3. Although you have this nicely styled piece, and though it is quite unique, I just don't quite get it, or the humor behind it. So, although I know it's there, I need to actually get the joke, if you know what I'm saying. For your color usage, I gave you another 3. I see a lot of the same color on the paper, which makes the characters look exactly the same. I'm sure that Keefe's and Sophie's hair colors are a bit different from each other, and is it just a coincidence that they are both wearing magenta shirts? I don't know. But the matching thing seems off to me. Even the jeans, too. The colors of Sophie directly match with the colors of Keefe. So yeah, I would like a little variation. For your effort, I gave you a 3. It looks like you spent an average amount of time on your art, a balance. I would like you to add more to this piece. Maybe there is a bit of background to this scene. Maybe they are at Foxfire right now, or Keefe's place. Make something up, and then draw it. And maybe there's some objects around the two, maybe some presents or something. I don't know. I have a lot of creativity usually, but not when it comes to art. So that's why I'm judging everybody so critically, because I don't know if this is creative or not. Confusing ranting aside, yeah, I gave you a 3. Good job. For your relativity to theme, I gave you another 3. This is just because I don't really look at this and think holidays, It's there, but you have to look for it. It is not an instantaneous thing, Your art meets regulations, so you scored a 5 in that category, which brings your total score up to a 17. I like the concept a lot, just expand and revise. Okay, so this is interesting. This was made by Fluffy Jelly Beans, and it appears to be a Sophit scene in a winter wonderland. But I don't know entirely what the things on the left are. For your scores, first up, creativity. I gave you a 2. I think that you could have spent more time thinking up a concept and conveying that on your iPad, iPhone, or wherever you drew it. For your use of colors, I gave you another 2. This is because your colors seem to be all over the place and you didn't take your time with them. Some things aren't even colored incorrectly. For your effort, I gave you a 1. Seriously, could you have spent more than 5 minutes on your art? I mean, you submitted it with 1 week still remaining, so you could have taken more time on this. For your relativity to theme, I gave you a 3. Even though your art is still at a beginning level, you still managed to relate it to the holidays. Christmas trees, Santa hearts, and love in the air. That's great. And your art scores a 4 for if it meets regulations or not, because I would like to spend more time on it and really get it ready for showcasing. This brings your total score from to a 12. I would like to say that I like your concept, just spend more time to get a better quality picture. So, that was one of my favorite edits slash animations that I did. I don't know, it just felt right. So, here's a beautiful scene made by the mysterious Miss F. This is so well drawn, and every aspect from the tree leaves to the shadow on the floor is just on point. We can see that Sophie is having a memorable moment of decorating a Christmas tree, a tradition that she would most likely cherish when she was a human, or when she thought she was a human. I like to think that Sophie is reflecting on her old culture at this moment. This is a very deep piece of art and very intellectual, as the artist knows Sophie very well and can portray this on paper. Very good job to you, I must say. And thanks for taking this contest very seriously and professionally. Now, here are your scores. Okay, for creativity, I gave you a 4. Like I said before, I like how you went very deep into Sophie's culture and identity. I have to give you big props for what you did here. I know that you have thought about every color to use and what to include to fill the scene more. Great job. For your usage of the colors, I gave you a 5. I have to thank you for including the shadow. Very well done. But make sure your angles are right. The angle at which the light is facing Sophie will impact the shadow, so keep that in mind. Everything else, down to the tiny dots on the present, is perfect. You spent a lot of time carefully picking your colors and making it look very appealing. For effort, I gave you another 4. Everything is so beautiful, but I didn't get the entire vibe that it was utterly and completely finished. The wall looks like slightly wonky a bit, and there should be another set of curtains on the other side. Am I correct? Anyways, very nitpicky stuff because the overall theme is very good. For your relativity to theme, I gave you a 5. I like how you dug into Sophie's character and really related the holidays to something that she would do. Let's just say that I know this is Sophie, and it feels like Sophie. I can't say that for many others, however. And your art meets regulations, obviously, so you score a 5. This shall bring your totals up to a 23. Well done. One of the highest scores I've ever given today, so congratulations. You spent a whole heck amount of time to make this, obviously, and your scores reflect that well. Thanks for entering, and we hope to see you in the next contest. Okay, so this was made by @AmazingSophieFoster. This is a nice digital portrait of Sophie on a snowy slope with Christmas trees dotted around wearing winter attire. A classic holiday moment that you would enjoy. It is a simple yet so good. There is not much else to say about this except that we should score it. Alright, due to magical editing skills, the scoring layout should appear now. For the first category, creativity, I gave you a 2. I think that you could have done more with your art, you know? As I said before, slapping a hat onto Sophie is not going to do much. You do have a nice background though, and that really accommodates for it. I really like the little people skiing or whatever they're doing. It adds some life into your art, which is really good. How you used your colors reflected into a 4. You know, you didn't use that many colors. And for this piece, it definitely works. Your scene just looks so peaceful, and by not using too many colors, you actually convey that feeling to me. And the outfit you put on Sophie looks amazing. And elvish. So, amazing job. For your effort, I gave you a 3. Like I said, for other people, you had a fair job of doing this. It's not like you took every second you could, and not like you spent 5 minutes on it. It just looks pleasant, and probably took you a good amount of time. You could have done some minor revisions to some things, and possibly have gotten a better score. For your relativity to theme, I gave you another 3. This is because, again, there is a balance, not too much or not too little. You have the Christmas-looking trees in the background, a Santa hat, and a winter scene. Your art meets regulations perfectly, so You got a 5 in the last category. This will bring your total score up to a 1, 7, 17. Thanks for entering. We will remember your art forever. I love the chill, quite literally, scene here. Sophie is gorgeous, the background is gorgeous, everything is gorgeous. Well done. This was made very greatly by Ella Peters. And a random trivia fact for future reference, I actually couldn't spell Peters for a long time. Joking aside, this image is very related to the book and to me. Very serious indeed. Lynn is preparing for Christmas without her twin brother, and personally, as a twin, I couldn't live without my brother, even though he gets on my real nerves sometimes while I edit videos. It just isn't possible. So I relate to this on a personal level. They both miss each other, and the artist does a real good job creating the two different scenes. Very, very good job, Ella. I love it a lot. So, let's show you your awesome scores. For the first category, creativity, I gave you a 4. I love this concept, so creative. You really dug into the book to create this. And I just had a revelation as I'm writing the script. But you had so much other things to draw. But you specifically chose this. And it was a great choice, by the way. It really conveys the holidays. I just love how it seems like they both are thinking about each other. For your color usage, I gave you a 5. This was the real inspiring part about it. You have a different color palette for each perspective, and the emotions on each side reflect on the colors. The dark and dreary side, Tam's side, is very sad and dark, as he is on the Never scene. Reluctantly, may I add though. There's little greenery on this side. And then you have the other side, Lynn's perspective. It has a yellowish tint light that signifies more life and happiness, although we can see that Lynn is still vulnerable, though, through her brother here. There's a lot of greenery here and a star. I also love the colors used for the outfits. Anyways, my point is, your use of colors uses a clear tone and it's very well drawn. I can tell that you used a lot of time on your colors. For your effort, I give you 4 points. I can tell that you spent loads of time on this, because frankly, it is just wonderful. I think something that could add another point to it would just be adding a bit more, Maybe a few presents underneath the Christmas tree, or maybe if you never seen gadgets on Tam's side. I don't know, just fill up the space a bit more, but not too much, because you still want to convey the deep emotion in this. For the fourth category, relativity to theme, I gave you a 4. This is a very good interpretation of a sad holiday image. Tam and Lynn are separated and they must really miss each other. You went really deep into the story and actually managed to relate this to the holidays well. Very good job to you. And your art meets regulations, obviously, giving you a 5, so your total score is a 22. A very high score, shall I say. Overall, I really like the seriousness presented in your art. I think that you truly deserve this score, and I hope that you get high scores from Austin and Joey also. I wish you a lot of luck in this competition. Bye. So, that was another one of my favorite animations slash edits that I did. If you noticed, if not, play it back, but it ripples at certain beats and changes color, and yeah, basically it is cool because the transitions match the beats of the jingle that I put in. Anyways, I'm supposed to be reviewing the art, not the edits. I like this, it's very humorous. It is one of my favorite characters, Keith, if I'm not mistaken. I love this sweater assuring everybody that he wasn't a Christmas elf. I also like the reindeer antlers. And I like how the artist incorporated Keith's ability into the art, empathy. I just noticed this though, lol. Anyways, he feels a lot of festive emotion. Hopefully you get some festive emotions through your scores. For the first category, which consists of creativity, I gave you a 4. It really takes me a long time to think up a joke, and you did this here. Incorporating humor in art is very enjoyable personally, and it is very creative. How you used holidays here was also very creative. For your use of colors, I gave you a 5. Keith looks semi-realistic in here, which indeed is a real art term, so don't worry. I like what you did with the hair because it seems made up of multiple colors. And the way you drew his outfit also looks great, because there are some spotty areas in the clothing, and it actually looks more realistic. I like how you just kept the background white here because it actually works. The white makes Keefe stand out because of contrast colors and all those ratios. Again, you did a great job with your colors. For your effort, I gave you a 4. It seems like you spent a great amount of time on this. It looks flawless, so it must have been slowly revised and perfected along the days, unless your original work is perfect. And like I said before, Keefe looks semi-realistic, and I can't see how that is accomplished without loads of time put in. How it relates to the theme gets another 4 points. Keefe is like literally fully decked out with the holidays. You couldn't get any better. And I really like the shirt and how it references the other type of elves. And I like how you use his ability and relate that to the holidays. You are one smarty pants. And as we see this on about everybody else's work, you got a 5 on regulations wise. This means your total score is a 22. If you haven't already noticed, you actually got the same exact scores, like bit for bit, as Ella Peters, the entry before yours. So you two share similar skill sets. But for you personally, this is a funny and holiday related piece. That's what we asked for, so thank you for entering. This looks really good, so be proud of this. I love this piece. At Chloe Mod, you are actually a genius at making art. Just look at this, y'all. You have the main centerpiece, the alicorns, and you also have a very subtle background, yet very stunning. This showed you put a lot of time into this. I love your outlining skills, or whatever you did here. It looks like you really emphasized the outline of the alicorns, and I actually quite like it. I think that it also trains your eyes to the center, which is what's supposed to happen. Again, I love this so much. Like, how do you do this? I can't right now. Oh my god. Alright, let's just score this. Okay, for your creativity, I gave you a 4. Taking on the alicorns is a really big deal and a big challenge to draw. So I'm glad you attempted this. I love the little romantic aspect in this too. How the mistletoe is hanging above them and they are about to make out, alicorn style. You also got really creative with the background. The snow and the trees are really neat. For usage of colors, I gave you a 3. So, I really like your art, as previously stated a bunch of times, but I just wish I could see this better. I don't know. The colors you used or how you took the picture makes it look like everything is light, and I can't see some of the smaller details because of this. Again, this might just be your lighting, but I want to see your art clearly, and this is the only reason why your score wasn't higher. For what I can see, though, the colors are beautiful and effective inside of your art. For your effort, I gave you a 5. I just thank you for the amount of time you put into this because I can imagine this actually taking more than 15 hours for what I see. Everything is flawless, perfect. You could really have a career in art if you wanted to with what you've produced. Down to every detail, there is no imperfections. I'm going to say this again, but it's perfect. I couldn't imagine anything better than this when the idea of this contest started. Just, wow. You are so talented in art, and I wish you the best of luck in this contest. For your relativity to theme, I gave you another 3. Your art is gorgeous as previously stated. It's just that it's not the best work of the holidays, if you get what I'm saying. In the focus point, we just have the mistletoe, but in the background that is not intended to be too highly looked at is where your holidays exist. I would like more holidays if you could in the center, the most showcased part, where the alicorns are. I don't want it hidden away, if that makes any sense. Your art meets regulations, so I gave you another 5. This brings your total score up to a 20. Well done. I really hope your art does even better with the other guys, and just foreshadowing a bit, but Joey said he really liked yours. Like he actually pointed yours out among a few. But that's not the only part of the bomb I'm going to drop. You will figure it out in the next part. Again, I love this. It is so good that I just can't put it into words. This is such an inspiration for any other artists. Wow. So, This is a nice work of art. We have got Sophie and Keefe dancing around the Christmas tree with a beautiful billowing sunset in the background. A lot of intricate details are inside of this, and I really like how you incorporated some sequins, or whatever they are called, on your Christmas tree. That shows you are a very crafty and artsy person. I have to say though, I love the alicorn in the background. With this being said, I sure hope your scores are good. Well, I know if they are or not, but yeah, I hope your scores are good. Let's see. For your first category, I gave you a 4. I just love what you put into your art. The sunset, the Christmas tree, the romantic scene between Keith and Sophie, and the alicorn. Well done. You sure know how to incorporate for me to enjoy. For your use of colors, I gave you another 4. I just have to praise you for the sunset or sunrise background because, well, it looks awesome. And as I said, for a lot of other people, the outfit coloring just looks so great. I don't know how you do it. Congratulations on that. But just in general, the colors you used are pleasant overall. And I can look at this without all the colors being jumbled and overcrowded, if you know what I'm saying. For your effort, I gave you a 3. I see that you put a fair amount of time into this. You've got everything big, but you could probably add some more intricate and teeny tiny details to have your art more impressive as a whole. Because even when you add a few tiny dots on your page, you are actually making it better. You know, I'm kind of blanking on what you could add, but I'm kind of straying from the path of effort, so let me refocus. Okay, so back to my point, I think that you put a balance of time into your art. For your relativity to theme we set for this particular contest, I give you another 4. You have most of the holidays on your paper except for snow. I love your Christmas tree, people, little rug thingy majiggy, but the only thing you are missing is the snow. I think that snow really conveys the holidays, as that is a typical stereotype. That makes sense. You could still have the sun rising / setting, but over a snowy plains. That would be so cool. Great job incorporating our theme though. I can tell that you actually were serious about that. And your art scored a 5 for meeting regulations. This will bring your total score for me up to a 20. Nice job on your creativity and relativity. It is a very pleasant piece of art. And good luck for the rest of the contest. Alright, this is fun. This was made by @ScoobJN, and I believe that this is digital. We have the full Keeper crew at this party. Marella, Biana, Fitz, Sophie, Dex, Tam, Lynn, Keith, and Wiley. All the main characters of KotLC. We also have somewhat of a fun story here where Keith is flirting with Sophie, Sophie's smiling, aw. Just in general, this is a masterpiece. Thanks for submitting it. Let's get to your scores. For the first category, you have earned yourself a 3. This is a classic image of the full Keeper cast, and everyone is smiling and so happy. Looks really good. But if you can incorporate more of a story into this, that would be great, and raise your creativity scores, if you get me. Everybody smiling and showing off their personality isn't just gonna do it for me. For your use of colors, I gave you a 3. There's something about the image that is just off, and I think that is because you didn't export your work with a good enough quality, so it looks kind of rough. And yeah, that does interrupt with the colors a bit. Besides that, everybody's wearing red, and I don't know if I like that aspect very much. You could totally incorporate green into this, as this is a holiday color. And one other color that is sort of holiday-ish would work. I don't know about the overhaul of red. For your effort, I gave you a 4. It looks like you spent loads of time on this piece. I mean, everybody's faces, hair, outfits, it's overwhelming. Getting everything right here is not a small task. And you took a risk by challenging the full Keeper cast art. Nobody else except for 1 or 2 others did all of the main characters. So very good job. It looks like you spent a lot of time on this. For relativity to theme, I gave you a 2. So, again, I just don't see any holidays in your art, except for the top and the red. Incorporating that green would really help as it adds more color and uses more of the holidays. And just in general, this could be any time of year. So I don't know, maybe if they were all playing in the snow, we could actually notice about that time of holidays. Get creative here. Your art meets regulations, obviously, so you score a 5. That will bring your total score up to a 17. Thanks for entering. I really appreciate all the hard work that you put into this. Now it is time to move on. See you later. And now it is down to 5 entries remaining. This particular entry was made by @ArtsyHurricane, and this is a nice scene of most of the Keeper cast reading, talking, and spending some time together peacefully. But they all know inside, their happiness and well-being will probably soon be destroyed by the Neverseen. I guess we should score before the Neverseen steal my scores or something. Yeah. So let's do this. For your creativity, I gave you a 3. I think that this is an interesting scene, and personally, I would have never thought of this. Everybody reading Christmas stories and enjoying their time together. But now, when I think about it, it does make sense. Because that's what the holidays are all about. Just relaxing and spending time with your family and friends. For your color usage, I gave you a 4. Every single color used looks nice, and overall, the color-wise look of this piece in general is relaxing for my eyes to look at, which is a great feature. For every single outfit, the colors look great. The only color issue I have here is Dex's hair. His hair is strawberry blonde in the book. I'm getting an orange reddish vibe from this. And it's kind of weird, but besides that, everything else is beautifully colored. Your effort scored another 4. It seems as if you spent a lot of time designing the scheme, sketching, outlining, and then coloring and revising. It's a whole process, and the patience of it requires a lot. But you have obviously mastered this and really spent some time on this. Now, an issue that I want to bring up resides in the theme. I gave you a 2 in this category, and I really wish I hadn't. But I just don't see that many holidays in this piece. Like, you got the book, the socks, and even then I still had to look really close to see the title was Christmas Stories. If I was just walking past your art in a museum, I probably wouldn't identify that your art is of the holiday theme. So that is why you have gotten a 2 in that category. But that being said though, your art scores a 5 for meeting regulations. So your total score from me for this contest is an 18. Wow. I really like what you have produced. Just remember to relate it back to our theme next time. Bye. Here's your cue for you all to go, wow. This was made by @majestic underscore face looking thing 1. Go follow them. This is actually gorgeous. Just take 1 or 2 seconds to honor this art. Like, what? How? Like, how does one make this in 2 weeks? Wow. This leaves me speechless. This overdominates everybody else's, and this is why we don't score too much on the actual artistic abilities. Everything is flawless. It's actually like a professional famous artist is entering in our contest. I'm speechless. Alright, I had to take a few minutes to just process what was drawn here. You know what? Let's just score this amazing piece of art before we get too. For the first category, I gave you a 5. A lot of creativity is present in this piece. You have multitudes of stories here, and some present in just random elves. You've got Lynn and Tam decorating the tree, with Keith helping them, by wrapping himself in tinsel, of course. You have Soph and Biana on the floor together near the fire. Well, I think that's Sophie and Biana. You've got everything. For your colors, I gave you a 3. I think that your colors are flawless here. It's just that it has a lot for my eyes to look at. And the multitude of colors in your faded watermark make my eyes get really distracted and hectic. But I do have to say, the windows with the landscape beyond is by far my favorite part of this piece. It looks so pleasant. But yeah, consider drawing your colors back a little on the bright side. For your effort, I gave you a 5. This must have taken you over an estimated 35 hours. This is like more than I've been working on this video. I couldn't imagine spending that much time on one piece of art. Everything is perfect, and gosh, I can't process it. Maybe we should move on. For your relativity to the theme, I gave you a 4. You have got almost everything present in the holidays. The fun times, the Christmas tree, and all the presents. But you are missing one thing. And this also makes another thing a bit confusing. Snow! Snow should be present in your art, outside of the windows. And if it was sunny outside and hot already, why would there be a fire? But if you did have snow or it was just colder, it would make sense to have a fire. So yeah, make sure to add that if there were a next time. God, your art meets regulations, of course, so you get a 5. Your total score from me, Majestic 1, is a 22. Very high. Your art had me speechless, and I thank you for the hours spent working on this. Wow. Alright, we have to move on now. Alrighty. Anneliese von Dar, everybody. They made this very nice piece of art appreciating the most underappreciated elf. And I really like this concept because guess what, guys? We actually don't have much of Dex in this contest. This one is one of few. This is probably the only entry that actually solely focuses on Dex. So thanks, Annalise. We also have this really cute Iggy in Dex's hands with a tiny Santa hat. So adorable. Oh. I also like to notice the little Easter egg on Dex's hat. It's Mickey House, a reference. Did I just say it's Mickey House? It's Mickey Mouse, a reference to Dex's last name. Alright, let's get into some scoring. Shall we? For your creativity, I gave you 3. This is a fair job of what I call creativity. You have decided to use Dex, which is a challenge, considering that he's very underappreciated. And Iggy, there's some aspects in here, little intricate details that I really enjoy and think are very creative, like the Mickey Mouse thing. For your colors, I gave you a 5. I like what you did here with the colors. I like how you have Dex in front of that white background and how the shape of his body kind of makes the outline shape. I don't know how to explain this. Oh my god. And then you have a nice light blue background with some beautiful white snowflakes. It's a very pleasant background. Again, Dex's outfit is also great. For your effort scoring, I gave you a 3. This is pretty simple, so make it more complex if you get me. Maybe Dex is doing something special for someone or making a prank for someone, I don't know. You have a good base, just expand upon it. The whole elven world is in your hands with this piece of art. Try adding another character to your art. That usually seems to work to increase your score and add a story. I guess my point is that you should add more. For your relativity to the holidays, I gave you a 3. It is not very present in Dex that is the holiday. Since he is the vocal and focused point in your art, that is where your holidays should exist. If you get me? Maybe he's wearing an ugly Christmas sweater or some cool holiday socks. Make him a member of the holidays because this is where I want to see the holidays, in Dex. Confusingness aside, you scored a high 5. Get my joke? From regulations. This will bring your final and total score up to a 19. Strangely enough, I don't think that I've ever given a 19 to anybody before. Or maybe I have, I don't know. But yeah, you may be the first. That is a pretty high score, so be proud of this art. It looks really nice in finals, so I applaud you on that. Everything is clean and fresh. Keep that art forever. Okay, so this is a simple yet hilarious piece made by Anika Mendez. It is one of Keefe in a holiday outfit, holding a sign that says Merry Keefmas. This is very simple, yet so beautiful, and I really like what you drew. If I'm not mistaken, I do see some snow in the background, so that's even better. You have a bit of humor in here, which is always good to see for the holidays. Now, for your scores. For the first category, creativity, I gave you a 3. I think that what you did here with Keith in a Santa costume, pretending that this day was celebrated for him, was a great idea. I feel like you could have added more onto the story, though. Maybe Sophie is beside him, shaking her head, and maybe Bianna is on the other side, laughing her head off. This is where it gets fun, because you decide what happens. Get creative. For your use of colors, I gave you a 4. I like the coloring for everything you drew. The snow is actually very soft toned, which makes it look like snow. So good job on that. Also, I really like the colors used for Keith's hair and eyes. His eyes look really good, and I just don't know how. I don't know, the blue you use is very soft, and the technique with the 4 circles inside of the eye looks pretty good. You also incorporated all the holiday colors, so hats off to you. Hooray. For your effort, I gave you a 3. You know how I was saying symbol a lot when I was introducing your piece? Well, that's how I feel. I love it, but it just can't score high because it didn't take much effort. Like I said before, add more characters in, but still convey the feeling that Keefe is the main focus point. Make me see more details, and I'll be inclined to give you that greater score. And remember, try to fill your paper as much as you can, even if it consists of just a plain blue sky. For your relativity to theme, I gave you a 3. I think you captured that essence fairly, but again, just add on to it. I don't feel fully enthused about your holiday. Make me feel really set into winter and the joy there. Maybe try making the snow a little more visible, I don't know. But this is also where creativity comes in. See, this all ties up. Your art perfectly meets regulations, and I'm glad that you entered, so I give you a 5. Well done. This shall bring your total score to, You thought I was going to say it, did you? Well, it's on the bottom of the screen. Read it. But if you are listening to this video and not watching it, however, it was an 18. I really like what you have produced here. It is funny and appealing to look at. I'm so glad you entered in our competition, and good luck for the rest of the parts. I can't actually believe that I'm saying this, but this is the last entry. It's slightly sad, but mostly relieving. For most of you that don't know, but I spent 3 to 4 hours a day for the last 2 weeks working on this video, and I'm nearly dead and exhausted right now. I actually couldn't last another day at this work schedule. Anyways, this cool piece of art was made by Soybean. It has Sophie looking through different spy balls to see her parents' house, Chicago, Christmas, the ball drop on New Year's. That is pretty cool. Let's get to your scores. So, creativity, huh? I gave you a 4. I really like your concept with the spy balls and Sophie missing those traditions she used to have. The balls are all around Sophie, it is just a nice image in general. I also like how you drew Sophie, by the way. For your use of color, get my joke, I gave you a 3. For the color that you used, you did pretty well. I like the shading on Sophie and the balls. But here's my only feedback. Use colors. Imagine what it would look like in color. That would actually be pretty awesome. I think it would also raise your score. For your effort, I gave you another 3. I think a nice background would look nice, even if it is just one solid color. And sometimes that would just improve your score overall, coloring in Sophie and those balls. It would look like more time went into it. For your relativity to the holiday season, I gave you a 4. Again, I feel strongly that the spy ball concept was amazing. Great job. If you had a snowy background behind all of what you had drawn, that would also be pretty cool. But I don't think that you could do more of this piece that would make it more holiday-ish. Your art meets regulations, so I gave you a 5. This brings your total score, the last but not least entry, to a 19. Nice job. My general feedback is this. Love your concept, but fill it with color. Thanks for entering, and thanks to anyone for entering. I truly love everybody's art. Thank you. Now, let's get to the end of part 1 standings, and then the outro stops. Let's go. Alright, guys and girls. I think it is an actual the time to say this, but those standings wrap up this particular video. You guys did an incredible job on this fan art, so pat yourself on the back right now. I mean it. Do it. If you enjoyed this video and all the fan art submitted to us, please leave a like. I spent about 25 hours making this video, so leave a like, subscribe, or comment to let me know that you like this video. That would be so appreciated for all the work I went through. If you would like to be notified when the next few parts of this series is going out, click the subscribe button and ding that notification bell. Quick disclaimer, however, Joey's and Austin's videos will be significantly shorter to suit your needs, no more than 15 minutes probably. Again, please comment down below what you enjoyed about the video and we will gladly respond. And if you want to be an awesome person today and donate to us on Patreon and become one of our patrons, that would be amazing and we would be super grateful. Support the 25 hours that I put into this, guys. Alright, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but see you next time.